When we look at our oceans, it's often overwhelming to think about the sheer volume of ocean-based industries and how inextricably linked the ocean is to our way of life and to trade. Preserving our oceans and ensuring their sustainability is imperative for biodiversity and the future of the planet. We must begin to implement real and tangible changes. And that is a collaborative task. Mercuria's role in trading commodity products requires us to utilize the oceans to transport vital goods to where they are needed. This gives us a unique position to understand the oceans. As residents of the planet, we want to be instigators of tangible and collaborative change. The oceans are essential for oxygen, climate, food, biodiversity, and jobs. And we feel it's important that ocean biodiversity becomes a critical part of the climate discussion. We're continuously looking for ways in which we can support this belief. As ocean users, we believe we have the power to promote positive change, which will help with this agenda. At Mercuria, we are collaborating with a number of organisations who are focused on ocean sustainability. Our employees have a real passion for the future of the oceans, and this has steered much of the work that we as an organisation are doing towards helping progress Sustainable Development Goal number 14, Life Underwater. As a company, we are able to allocate resources, be it data, technology, people, or expertise, to help others to further their progress in achieving this important goal. In the same way that the oceans connect our everyday lives, there is a real power in connecting those who are pursuing the same goals. We'd like to highlight some of the organisations with whom we have partnered and to demonstrate the important work that they are doing to understand and protect this essential element of our planet. Hub Ocean is a not-for-profit using data to promote ocean sustainability.
Our ocean is the single most important ecosystem on this planet, absorbing 90% of the excess heat on the planet. It's giving us every other breath we take. It's the biggest carbon sink we have. It's incredibly important that the ocean keeps functioning. And the key of the matter is that this space is really poorly understood and poorly mapped from a data and knowledge perspective. And that's what Hub Ocean is dedicated to do something about. We're determined to sit at the intersection of science, of governments, and of industry, because that's when we're actually able to make the kind of impact that we need to for society to really be taking care of biodiversity, taking care of this planet. When we can bring all of that data together in the geospatial platform that we're building, cloud-based, and make that transparency come together and make that availability of data be offered to places where it can have impact, then we'll start to really see the power at our hands to heal our ocean. So Mercuria has been a really great partner for Hub Ocean. They're a forward-leaning company. They are very dedicated to investing in this ocean space, and they're very curious to support innovations that can make a difference. Another thing Mercuria and Hub Ocean have done together, which we're excited about, is we've created an app called Citizen Sea. This is an app that reaches out, puts in the hands of seafarers around the world, and give them the power to create pictures of those things they're observing and bring those into the ocean data platform so that we can take that vast amount of information and actually translate it in really innovative, data-driven ways into observations that matter. Mercuria's data has been super helpful for us, and that kind of transparency is incredibly important to know that when we're extracting natural resources in pristine environments, that we're doing so with really good data. It's in keeping with the regenerative power of the ocean itself. Transparency breeds accountability, and it also breeds knowledge for ocean impact.
By transparently presenting data, Hub Ocean is able to inform others, to help in their studies of the ocean, to help them to understand more about how our seas can be preserved. But change can also be made through organisations like the Swiss Polar Foundation. Researchers are venturing out into the elements to really understand and study the impact of climate change.
The poles are the regions that are the most sensitive to global warming. But now with the melting of the glaciers, of the permafrost, a lot is happening at this interface between the coastal region and the land. The Swiss Polar Foundation is a foundation that supports financially the Swiss Polar Institute, meaning Swiss researchers, but also international researchers, and it is a way for Switzerland to contribute and to offer a scientific platform in polar and subpolar regions. So we needed to have a small, relatively small boat that could go and along the coast and even beach in if necessary, so that we could sample those areas that the big boat cannot do. We decided to create laboratories, and we would bring the equipment. We're now able not only to do sampling, but sequence the genome of the biodiversity, things that were unthinkable. So Mercuria was absolutely essential. Without Mercuria, this project wouldn't exist.
It's not easy to unify action under one goal, and harder still when oceans separate us from one another. So when we see action being taken to break down these boundaries, it's really something special. We also support the goals of micro-organizations like the Reef Alert Network and their efforts to restore the beauty and the biodiversity of the ocean. Reef Alert Network is a group of volunteers giving up their time to dive deep into the ocean, removing drop fishing nets to allow biodiversity to flourish once again. This international community of divers come from multiple locations and all walks of life. What binds them is the collective desire for change.
I believe knowing marine ecosystem is the first step to appreciating and protecting them. Our Marine Conservation Laboratory provides divers with the tools needed to take action in defense of the most fragile ecosystem, and provides the knowledge needed to help science study the effect of climate change. RAN is a no-profit organization founded by educators, explorers, and researchers with the aim of safeguarding the most representative habitat of the Mediterranean Sea. While we cannot do much to stop heat waves in the short term, we can drastically reduce our impact on the seabed through more restrictive fishing rules, especially in the presence of seabed with high naturalistic value. In this scenario, the creation of a direct line between local professional fishermen and diving centers become critical. Participation and cooperation between the different activities that benefit from marine resources are a fundamental element for achieving the objective of sustainable development. Divers who are more respectful and aware of the environment in which they dive, capable of supporting local communities in awareness campaign and marine conservation projects. Mercuria is the partner that allows us to take the first step in creating a network of marine conservation outposts by giving us visibility and support. Rather than setting ambitious global goals, we support local dive communities to take action to conserve their dive sites. Only those who deeply know the reef can notice the change, and only those who visit the reef regularly can monitor the health condition.
As a company that relies on the oceans, we are focused on the evolution of the maritime sector in its quest for greener solutions. The Villars Institute is a not-for-profit foundation set up to accelerate the transition to a net zero economy and to restore the health of the planet for all of its inhabitants. We were honoured to take part in the Villars Institute Summit. The event centred on addressing the energy trilemma through a systems thinking approach, and several of our employees attended to collaborate on a broad range of topics covering some of the most pressing sustainability issues around the world.
The mission of the Institute is to accelerate this transition. And to do that, we convened a nature restoration roundtable, something that we're going to continue in other biomes. But the idea is, if you bring the right group of people, particularly not just policymakers, but scientists, but as well as even ecopreneurs, people who are building businesses around these things, I think you have exciting potential to actually solve parts of the problem, or at least find pathways that are way forward. And most importantly, when you bring together people in this sort of roundtable setting, you recognize if you want to accelerate change globally, you have to actually slow things down at the human scale. To learn something takes time, to trust somebody makes time, to collaborate and co-design takes time. So it's important to get the right set of people with the right attitude, but also the right setting and the right purpose. In this purpose, it was nature restoration.
Our view is that the more there is collaboration, the more impactful and rapid the results will be. Next generation technologies and people are crucial to solving these challenges. Offering a platform where ideas can be generated and turned into realities is critical. Long-term preservation of the oceans, working in harmony with them and with nature in a way that allows trade to continue, the world to remain connected, and longevity of the water as a place for marine life and people to thrive. This is a goal that will continue to form a major part of our corporate strategy. Mercuria and its employees are keen to cooperate with organisations that share in our vision to contribute to the sustainability of the oceans. It's so important that we don't lose sight of all the unique ways that contribute to a more sustainable environment, and it's possible for all of us to make a difference. It should never be overlooked how vital the next generation's opinions and solutions are, and the Mercuria Hackathons are a great example of where minds come together without self-interest or prejudice to create some fresh thinking and a diverse set of solutions. The challenge was to come up with solutions that would help make the shipping sector more sustainable, since about 90% of the world's trade is transported by sea.
I think that what most motivated me to participate in the hackathon was being able to be surrounded by like-minded students who were also tech-driven in their mindset, in their approaches to things, that they kind of thought in similar ways to me, but that we were coming from different spaces, so we had different experiences that we were bringing into the hackathon as well. And additionally, it was really great to be working towards a bigger problem, an overall sustainability issue in the maritime industry.
One of the highlights was definitely the challenges. I think the fact that they weren't so open-ended as other hackathons, that they were a bit more focused, and that follows the sustainability theme. We were all in a room working to complete these challenges as best we could, and we were actually solving a real-world problem, which was really exciting.
I was really motivated by all of the students in the different regions that they came from. They were really taking strides in the industry, attempting to make changes, both in tech and in the environment. And from that, I've become more motivated in my own life to continue to seek opportunities like this one, and to be able to kind of push for more learning on my part, but also more sharing of that knowledge.
These organisations are all able to foster positive change to our oceans, but this change occurs at many levels, from the global shipping industries all the way through to individuals, programmers, specialists and more. What all of these have in common is their desire to network and collaborate to maximise their achievements. It's so important to support this attitude and mindset for changing the future of our oceans. Through the breadth of industry and the scope of generations, connectivity is our key to success. The oceans are beautiful and vital to life on Earth. Let's all try and make a difference.